Oh,
That's the money shot.
cheers.
Cheers on it. Yeah.
Blackberry gin.
Thank you very much to Chris Butler for this beautiful homemade blackberry gin, currant gin.
Wow.
What's up with you? Teach you
I
right.
don't drink anymore. So, let's talk about California. I've named this episode The Rock and Roll Chapter because of the stories you told me. So let's take it back. So the boat went into refit in Newport Beach. Dave picked you up from there and you started your life in Mariposa de Oro.
A place called Sarah Retreat, and the villa, his villa, Dave Mason's villa, was in Sarah Retreat, but it was called Mariposa de Oro, which is the golden butterfly in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
And it was like a hacienda.
And that was in Malibu.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, your neighbours were kind of everything from the A-list. All the A-listers were your neighbours.
Margot Kidder next door, who was gorgeous. She was just lovely. Who was Lois Lane in the first Batman.
Oh, wow.
So she was a good friend in the end. And who else? We had Dan Haggerty lived around the corner, who was Grizzly Adams. With the,
Which is this
with
guy?
The bear and the donkey, yeah.
Cool.
He was madman, absolute madman. He used to sleep with the bear up in the hills and stuff.
And these are
Crazy.
actors.
He was an actor, yeah. He was an actor.
Oh, wow. And so what was it like living around people, like that? I mean, Ali MacGraw as well, did you say?
Annie McGraw, yeah. She was a friend. She lived in Malibu Colony, but we did a concert together, a charity concert together. Her and Ryan O'Neill and Mick Fleetwood, Dave Mason, Gary Busey. Lots of us basically.
Were there any kind of like surreal or funny stories and mingling with the A-listers, I suppose?
Yeah, but they weren't really A-listers. They were just completely normal people, Dave was like the messiest guy around. He had odd shoes and stuff like that. He was great fun. Beautiful house, obviously. Gary Busey was just as mad as him. Mick Fleetwood was reasonably sensible. No, not really. He lived in a place called Chateau du Bois down at Paradise Cove. And who else was there?
Ali MacGraw?
Annie McGraw was in the Colony. She lived in the Colony, and there was various other people there. Loads that were back from that day, like Little House on the Prairie, the guy from there, he lived down there.
I bet it was quite a shock. So you just come off kind of like sailing around the Caribbean, very chilled into like Hollywood lifestyle.
Unbelievable, yeah. So you were wandering around the Caribbean with virtually no clothes on, barefoot, and it was a bit of a shock, but it was great. They looked after me, and got on with looking after them really.
So you started off. You were living in renting a room from Dave Mason. Is that right? You were sharing with him.
No. He just employed me as a friend, and so I looked after. I was like his PA,
right.
So I looked after everything at home. And then there was a guy called Jim who was his tour manager, and another Jim that he could play guitar with. So they'd go off touring, and I would look after everything at home. And then when he was home, I would drive him around and look after him basically. And we'd go and party and stuff like that.
And was that a paid job then? Because I'm thinking at this point, I know it's the 80s, but how are you living a lifestyle in California with no cash?
Sort of. He'd just give me like kind of $500 and say, keep you going for a while and stuff, yeah. But, yeah.
That's amazing. So I remember you saying Dave was working on a new album at the time. Did you ever kind of tag along to the studios?
All the time.
Did you?
Yeah, all the time. So the studios were up in Hollywood. He was doing this new album, and I've got a funny feeling that he was breaking up from Warner Brothers at the time. So Dave and Mick Fleetwood both were with Warner Brothers under contract, but they didn't want to be under contract with them, so they're both trying to get out of the contract. So I can't remember this guy's name, but he was some famous guy in Los Angeles that was funding
like a producer.
Dave's new album. He wasn't a producer; he was just a funder, really. So Dave and I would go up to Hollywood. So we'd go up there like kind of 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and then come back in the daylight in the morning. So my suntan was rapidly decreasing. So I spent most nights with him up there, and occasionally we go out to a place called Joshua Tree out in Nevada desert, going out towards Palm Springs, which was great. And I think it was owned. The studios was owned by John Lennon's son, Julian Lennon. He was a nice guy.
And just that atmosphere of being in when people are making music and just sat around it, I bet it was amazing.
It's not a weird culture. It's a fantastic culture because you're just sitting there and people are just strumming away on guitars and then
proper music.
Yeah. And Tom Petty as well. He lived in the Colony. I knew him. In fact, I helped rebuild his house at one stage, further on down the line.
You keep referencing the colony. What's that?
Malibu Colony. So it's where all the stars lived. So it was a gated colony on a private beach.
Right.
So it's still there now.
Well,
but
probably not after the fires.
maybe rebuilt now. But yeah, so you came through a gate. It was guards and everything, and it was all patrolled and everything like that. But they were beautiful, beautiful houses right on the beach. So you had a sun deck, and then straight onto the beach, and they were all great fun. Later on, I worked for a guy called Steve Littlejohn, who worked in the colony.
That's amazing. And so you were having a great time, and there was a concert. I want to talk about this concert.
So Dave was busy with the album, putting this album out, which was fantastic. Unfortunately, I had the tapes from it, which I brought back from America, but I can't find them.
Oh.
But they were really, really good music. Malibu had an emergency room, which was like a hospital, but it was like a GP, basically. It was like a doctor's waiting room kind of thing. But from Santa Barbara to Santa Monica, Malibu was in the middle, and there was nothing. If there'd been a terrible accident, they'd probably die going to one of those hospitals if it was around Malibu. And all these people had lots and lots of money. So Dave was working, obviously doing the album. So I then met up with Mick Fleetwood, Ali McGraw, Ryan O'Neill, Gary Busey, Dan Haggerty. There was loads of us got together, and I helped arrange the concert. We raised £1 million.
Oh my gosh! In the 80s as well.
In the 80s, yeah. So which built a hospital basically with an emergency room and everything like that. And it was up at UCLA, which is University of California, Los Angeles, and it was a Mormon It's a Mormon university, so nobody was allowed alcohol or anything like that. Oh
wow!
So I couldn't figure out why we had so many guitar cases, and the guitar cases were full of beer.
That is brilliant. That is
and we got caught.
Oh, did you?
Caught, yeah.
But you're allowed to drink, or no one's allowed to drink?
Nobody's allowed to drink on the campus.
Oh, it's not very rock and roll.
Not very rock and roll, no. Imagine Mick Fleetwood, who's about 7 foot, skinny as a rake. Go, where's the beer?
Well, I wanted to talk about this picture here. I don't think this is Mick. I think this is... Who are these people? That's you.
That's me. There's Ali McGraw. That's Clint Eastwood's stuntman.
Oh, wow.
Who lived in Malibu. A really lovely guy. Adriana Horowitz, I think her name Horowitz, who was a producer or director of films. And that guy was as well.
So who is Ali McGraw?
Ali McGraw was in...
I should know.
Love Story.
Right.
With Ryan O'Neill way back in the old days. She was in The Getaway. Not Getaway. What was the Steve McQueen... Big Steve McQueen movie where she fell in love with Steve McQueen.
Which is this?
That's Ryan. That's Love Story. Yeah, that's Ryan O'Neill.
Oh, wow. I'm going to show these just for a minute. So why are you there is what I want to know.
Because I was arranging a concert with them.
Oh, of course you were, for the hospital concert.
Yeah.
And then this picture is amazing, but I suppose people will know that reference.
Yeah, that people will know from the old days. But interesting enough, that one there, if you look at the shirt I've got on, it's sex wax. I
said that to Mum earlier. I said, that.
It's for surfboards. It's the wax for surfboards. But everybody else was reasonably well dressed, especially the directors. But Ali was lovely. She's just such a lovely lady. She was so nice. We used to go out and have a drink over at the Pelicans Retreat in Calabasas occasionally. She was so nice, really down to earth. They all were. They were all normal people. You expect them to be real stars, but they're just normal people.
It's so refreshing as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they probably saw you as on level with them.
Come off the sea,
yeah. They probably enjoyed your story.
Really well. I used to wander around in shorts all the time. And,
still do.
So Stevie Nicks was involved in it as well. But her PA was Christy Dukos.
Right.
And we had a big party after the UCLA concert at Lindsay Buckingham's place, which is down in Paradise Cove.
Oh, wow.
Lots and lots of greenery, and it was like a jungle, basically. And I ended up playing pool with her.
With Stevie Nicks?
No, I met Stevie Nicks through her at the wedding, yeah. But no. So I met Christy playing pool at this party, and we sort of got on really well. So. And then the next thing, I was invited to Stevie Nicks' wedding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which was fun, really good fun. I remember she came I had to borrow a tux or buy a tux or rent a tux because it was all kind of very smart. And, or DJ, I think, I can't remember anyway. So I turned up, and Nils Lofgren, probably not a lot of people know Nils Lofgren. He was in the entrance of this beautiful house at Stevie's, and he was playing the piano, and I met him, and he was such a lovely guy. But everybody was just, there was music everywhere, just people were picking up guitars and playing away. And I remember her coming up to me and said, "You mess her around, you mess Christy around, and I'm coming after you." She was from Phoenix, Arizona. She had a real broad accent.
Oh, wow.
And she had this lovely house. And her bedroom, there was a bridge from her bedroom to a tennis court, which she couldn't play tennis. So she painted it pink and used to roller skate around it.
Oh my gosh, that's so California 80s. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's what I imagine it to be, which is
so she married Lindsay Buckingham, and then I think it lasted a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think Noel, do they call it an old?
Yeah, an old.
And it was an old.
Not because of you.
Nothing to do with me. No, this is Nikki. This is Stevie Nicks.
Right.
Yeah, not Christy Dugard.
So then you mentioned that Dave and his wife broke up, but then also kind of almost the bigger breakup was him and Warner Brothers, and he lost his house.
Yeah.
Which ended in you living in Mick Fleetwood's pool house. So I want to talk about
that.
So
him and Dana split up. He went on tour, and when he came back, I was at the house when she split up. She just grabbed a load of stuff, and her big thuggy boyfriends came, and not boyfriends, and
bodyguards,
brothers and stuff like that came and grabbed everything, and I tried to retrieve as much as I could. Anyway, they drove off with all of it and never saw her again. But yeah, I think Warner Brothers sussed out what Dave was doing, and then Dave said, "Right, I don't want anything to do with Warner Brothers anymore. I'm cancelling it." So anyway, so Warner Brothers said, "We can't. You're under contract," and they sued him. So he lost all his money, and he lost his house, which was for Mariposa de Oro, which went down for 1.2 million, which
in
these days is 4 million. I calculated it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually 4 million. So
Dave lost everything.
Cheech Marin took pity on us for a while, and we went and stayed with him. Cheech and Chong. You ever heard of Cheech and Chong?
I'll have to do some research.
It's hysterical. Cheech and Chong, they're all
a show?
Smoking. No. It's like an episode, like a series.
Right.
And they're all stoned off, the two of them, and Cheech and Chong, Tommy Chong and Cheech Marin. So I knew Cheech Marin quite well. And he was, we stayed with him for a little bit. He was nice. He used to go off in a canoe in the morning, go fishing and stuff. Paradise Cove.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and then Mick said, "Oh, come and stay with us." So we
moved into his pool house.
Mansion, basically. The house was called Chateau de Bois. It was a massive house with a pool, and then a big house around the pool with 3 or 4 bedrooms. And Dave and I moved in there. And then he started going out with a lovely girl called Pammy Lyons, sweetie, but she was only 21, and Dave was about 50, I think. But she was great fun. But I met her dad. They lived in Palos Verdes, and her dad told me a lovely story when her and her sister were really young. They'd always slide the window up and disappear and go party at night, and they were only like 14. He said, so I had to nail the window shut so they couldn't get out.
Oh,
he was a lovely old boy, was. But, you ever heard of the Green Flash?
Yes,
Flash? Yeah?
You always try to talk about the Green
I'd seen the Green Flash a couple of times in the Caribbean, but it's very unusual, very rare.
I want to explain what the Green Flash is for people.
So the Aztecs said when the sun goes down, and they thought the land was flat.
Yeah.
It wasn't round. And when the sun goes down, when it hits the sea, it goes like it goes out.
Yeah.
Like the sun goes out. And that's the green flash. And what basically happens is it goes like a flash of a camera. Can't take a picture of it. It's too quick. Anyway, so I was telling Pammy Lyons' dad this, sitting up on Palos Verdes looking out to Catalina Island. And I said to him, have you ever seen the green flash? He said, man, where the hell was a green flash? I said, well, seriously, it looks like it's going to be a clear night. There mustn't be any clouds on the horizon. And I said, it's a clear night. Maybe we'll see it. So we're sat there, 2 deck chairs. Everybody else is inside. And all of a sudden, I said, any minute. He's like, wow. He jumps up, running around the garden. I've just seen the green flash. It was like he'd won $1 million. Well, probably had
I've sat with you so many times thinking, we're going to see it.
Yeah,
I've still never
seen it. They saw it at Bantam the other day, yeah.
Well, if anywhere, it would be there. So any stories from living with Mick Fleetwood? There's got to be some.
Loads. But first time I ever played Trivial Pursuit, Mick was my partner.
Oh, brilliant.
Lucky he was clever and I wasn't, because we did all right. He was such a nice guy. Trying to think of something. We just had...
Do you ever just sit and listen to Mick play? And sing?
Yeah. He'd sit in the car next to me, and he'd always have a leather-bound book. and he'd see a traffic sign or he'd hear something on the radio, and then he'd take it out and start writing.
Oh, wow.
It's like writing a song.
Pure.
Yeah, we played in the house all the time. The studio was like, what was the studio? Got to be 30, well, more than that, 50 meters by 50 meters with big marble steps that went down, and then a whole set of guitar, drums, and everything all at the other end. My bedroom was to the left.
And he involved you, you weren't just sat in the pool house separate.
We were good friends.
Yeah.
We were good friends. Yeah, we were really good friends. Yeah, and he'd go off on tour, and I'd look after the place and do various bits and pieces. Yeah.
That's amazing. So how long were you there then? How long were you at the pool house before? I think after that, didn't your mum sadly passed away and you went home?
Well, Mick then had the same trouble with Warner Brothers, and they took him down as well. I think his was about, well, in these days would have been about 5 million.
Yeah.
So he lost everything. And yeah, so he just basically disappeared off to Maui. I don't know what happened to Dave. They stayed there. They probably stayed there. And then I got a phone call to say Mum had died. So got on a plane and came home. But it was a really funny feeling because Mum had been ill for quite a long time, and she was burnt from radiotherapy and everything like that. And she was very brave, very, very brave. But I felt elated that she died.
You didn't want to see her like that?
I didn't want to see her like that. And she didn't want to be like that.
No.
And Jez and Hamish picked me up from the airport, and I had a bottle of Commemorativo tequila, and I drank it with them on the way back.
Oh,
they were a bit reluctant. They said, "No, this is not really good." And the Pope had died, and everything. I said, "Come on, she'd love that she'd be up there, thinking it was fantastic." So we drank this bottle of tequila and
celebrate her life.
Celebrate her life, yeah. And then nobody else wanted to see her in her coffin, and I went and saw her, and it was a fantastic feeling.
Oh, really?
Seeing her there, yeah. She looked gorgeous.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Especially if you haven't seen her for a while. You don't want to tarnish that memory that you have.
No, and I really did want to say goodbye,
Yeah.
But, yeah. And
see, how long were you home then?
4 weeks, something like that, yeah.
And why was that not the end? Why were you going back to California?
Well, I had everything there.
Oh, right.
And I think Mick was still there. I think I went back and Mick was still there. And then I bumped into Stuart Lawrence.
Oh,
met him
at the champagne party. He is amazing.
He's a great guy. Great guy.
So what's the link there? So Donovan.
Yeah. So his sister's married to Donovan, and he was Donovan's sort of manager. He's same as me. So he looked after Donovan, basically. And so Lynn was his sister. And so we sort of got together, and he said, "Look, I've got a spare room in the house if you want to rent it." So I moved up Malibu Canyon and stayed with Stu, and then the guy in Malibu Colony called Steve Littlejohn, lovely guy, mad. Everybody's mad, sorry, but he said, "Well, there'd been this massive mudslide and fires and stuff like that, and a lot of the houses on the Malibu Colony, they have a deck that goes out like that, and then it goes straight down like that." So the sea had hit it because there was terrible storms, and it had broken all the deck, and it popped it all up like that. And there's summer houses and so on. So he said, "Look, I need people to help me to rebuild these decks." Tom Petty was one, and loads of other ones. I can't think of their names now. Oh, what a good guy. Anyway, so he employed me to go as a carpenter's mate and to rebuild the decks as a carpenter's mate, basically. But,
amazing.
And it was fantastic. And then I became a painter and decorator. So we were painting the outside of the buildings after we rebuilt them. Yeah, so it went on like that. And then Stephen employed me for ages. We used to party on a Friday night.
I was just going to ask about the hangouts, like Pelican's Retreat, what's the other one you always mention to me?
Sagebrush Cantina, Sundance Saloon. So that's where Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was filmed.
Oh.
Yeah, so Sagebrush Cantina, Sundance Saloon was basically where the film sets were. Now, those are the bars originally.
Yeah.
And then now they're proper bars, then they were proper bars. So there were great hangouts, bands and everything, and yeah, good fun. And then just up the road was the Pelican's Retreat, which is where Ali McGraw and I used to go and have a vodka there. And, yeah.
And what this bar is named over after
this bar we sit underneath is Pelican's Retreat. I remember Stu said, "Oh, we've been invited up the road for for a jacuzzi and a few drinks. So we walked up the road, went into this house, and I'm in this jacuzzi, and I'm looking at this girl opposite me in this jacuzzi. I said, she looks familiar. She looks familiar. Anyway, we finished there. We're coming back down. I said to Stu, I said, hey, who's that girl that was sat opposite? Oh, he said, it's Chrissie Hynde. She's got a band out called Pretenders.
Oh my gosh.
I was sat opposite her in the jacuzzi.
Wow.
Yeah. And then a great friend, I don't think you have met him actually, Sid. He's a guitar roadie for Paul McCartney.
Oh, wow.
And various other bands. Anyway, so he rocked up and I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm with Pink Floyd. And they were playing at the Hollywood Bowl. And Mick Rouse is Out of Bad Company, which I knew back from England.
Yeah.
And Pete Brewery, obviously, worked for him. We went and we got front row seats, me and Stu. And Hollywood Bowl's got a zoo as well. It's got a zoo, like a proper zoo with lions and tigers and everything like that. So anyway, we're sat in the front row and they come out literally to do the first gig. And Mick goes, Si!
Oh.
Was it brilliant? And I went, he's just going to hide under the seat. Let's hide. Anyway, they carried on. So it was Gilmore, Mick Rouse, and a few other guys from Pink Floyd. But that was great. And then we all went backstage and the security said, well, unless you're with the band, you're going to have to go because they're closing up the zoo. Anyway, Stu and I were like, ooh, a bit tipsy. So we went to go and we got told off big time.
Oh, really?
The lion pens, but a cage, obviously. But we were walking up the bars and the security guard came up. What are you doing? I went, oh, sorry, we're from the band.
We're with the band.
Time to go,
Oh, that's amazing.
So we left.
So eventually the California chapter came to an end and you had a big leaving party at Alice's
restaurant.
Alice's
restaurant, which is on Malibu Pier. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant.
Oh, really?
Yep. And Crazy Horse Saloon was across the road from there. And then there's a guy called Alistair Beale, which is a great friend of Stuart's, and I became quite friendly with. He was like mafioso, lovely guy, big moustache and black hair. Anyway, he said, you can use my apartment. So we had his apartment basically for after the party, which was literally on the pier, on the edge of the pier on Malibu.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I remember going to bed and...
well, that's a bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. Finally. And I put my head on a pillow and I God, dear, that bloody hard pillow. And I looked underneath and there was a 45 Magnum underneath the pillow.
Oh my God.
It was out. And it was loaded.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Whose was that? Don't know whose it was.
It was ours.
Oh.
The Bills. Yeah.
Oh.
He kept it under the pillow.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. And then the next morning, Stu came and picked me up, said goodbye to various friends and stuff. And
you left everything there, didn't you?
Everything.
You just brought your camera, your photos.
I had a little leather bag with my camera with photos. I bought some photos back, I think, when Pogel died. But I left everything. Left my car. I left 2 cars there. I left one in Florida and I left one in California. Beautiful convertible Fairlane. All my clothes.
So why was that the end? What was the point that you went, I'm ready?
Well, yeah, it just come to an end, I think, with Dave going and Mick going, and it was all kind of slowing down. Stu was fantastic. We had some great times. Great times in Calabasas. Beautiful. You imagine sunshine. The avocados were growing on a tree and the avocados were like that. And you just went out in the morning and picked them.
Yeah.
It was like, I think it was, the average temperature was 95 Fahrenheit or something, which was about 21 the whole time. It never rains in California, but boy, don't they warn you. I mean, just going back a little bit, Jez flew over. So the idea was, I said, Jez, come on over. Dave's fine. Come and stay with us for a couple of weeks and then go back. So he turned up with 2 other people, the stewardess that he met on the plane and Nobby Norman. And
Nobby Norman, what a name.
Yeah, I won't tell you why. But
I can take a guess.
Yeah, so they was with us, and Dave, myself, and Jez went to Sagebrush Cantina. There's a big stage at the back, and where the bands get up and play. So that somebody recognised Dave, and they said, "Can you come up and play? Can you come up?" I think Mick Fleetwood was with us as well. So Dave got up, and he did All Along the Watchtower. If you guys know All Along the Watchtower, it was absolutely fantastic. He rocked the place. They just thought it was brilliant. And then at the end of it, he called me and Jez up, and he got on the microphone and he said, "These are my 2 bookends." And he put his arms down and said, "These are my 2 bookends."
Oh, bless.
Yeah, at Sagebrush Canteen. Great memories.
So looking back, what did you learn from the California days, but the boat days as well? I
think travel alone. Definitely travel alone, because you get the best experiences when you're on your own. If you travel in a group, we've met people that are traveling in groups and it doesn't work. And be happy
Yeah.
and be positive and crack on. And you get on with people, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, next time we're going to talk about obviously how against all odds you came home and your story with mum wasn't quite over, and we're going to pull mum in for this episode, which I can't wait for.
Sounds great.
And she's going to tell us her side of the story and how you managed to win her back after leaving her for 5 years. So I'm really looking forward to that. But thank you for sharing all your stories as always, and I love you and I envy the life that you've had. Love you,
Baby.